Hey, before we end it out, BradXilla, I have a question.
What's up, baby?
Chops.
Chops.
Those chops, man, are they real? Because Aaron said they weren't real.
I mean, we're at PopCon. I can show one off.
Ready?
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
Interest of the greater good for me to smoke a joint and calm down.
I am the greatest. He'll fall an eight to prove that I'm great. And if he keeps talking jive, I'm going to cut it to 5.
Alrighty. The PopCon Live podcast stage is back up and running, and we've got a brand new one for PopCon. Is this your first live show?
Yeah, this is our first.
All right,
live.
with their first live show, please welcome Louisville's own, the Ville, Chillin.
All right, thank you.
What's up?
Cuckoo.
All right, well, welcome everybody to our first live taping of an episode of the Ville Chillin podcast. My name is Aaron.
My name's Jack.
And we just cover everything Louisville kind of has to offer, different, really just different topics all around, including improv and wrestling. We've had a director, some musicians on our show. So if you're into anything going on in Louisville or know anybody who ever wants to talk about what they're doing, cool people doing cool things is kind of how we frame ourselves. So today we brought with us Stefan of Improv 502 and Extra Crispy Improv.
Yo, what's up?
And we got BradXilla, the current TCW Heavyweight Champion.
The belt is on the table, but I'm not defending it. Unless you pay me to defend it, then I might defend it.
I got $1.
Deal. Let's do it. Thumb wrestle for the title.
Thumb wrestle for the heavyweight. I like it. So, Stefan, why don't you go ahead and start and just kind of let them know who you are, what you do, and like a little bit of your background.
The basic girl dad, new girl dad, 2 years, I got a 2-year-old. She's my everything. And she is just like me. She's already doing improv. I've been doing improv comedy for 25 years. I've been teaching it, performing it. I've toured all over this country and Canada doing improv comedy and theater as well, musical theater. I may be a big, strapping young lad, but I'm also a beautiful singer.
I've witnessed it. He's not lying.
I will gladly sing any show tune that you ask me to sing, or if we're doing improv, we'll make it up and do that too. So, or opera, we'll do opera. I mean, I do it all. But yeah, I've been doing that for a long time. Troubled childhood, so I stayed away from sports growing up because that would not have worked out well, and I found my way to theater and music and comedy. That's how I kind of dealt with my trauma growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Was being the class clown and having fun like that, and that's just where I'm at, man. Like I can't stop. And like I said, my daughter, she does the same thing. I just was telling you guys, she's already pratfalling at 2 years old. She dives onto the floor, looks up and says, "I fall, Daddy," and then laughs, like this hard, scary laugh. We call her Crazy Hazy, man.
That doesn't change because she's 5, my daughter's 5, and she does the same thing.
Never stop. Never stop.
Exactly. Brad, why don't you kind of give us your background in wrestling?
Oh, little old me. Okay. Yeah, so hi, BradXilla. Been wrestling now for 11 years, actually 11 years this past month. Was trained by Cashflow, who everyone knows from Ohio Valley in this area, I'm sure. I was trained by Cashflow when he was still a very angry man. So we had a class called Chop Shop where we would sit in the corner and just take chops from the man until either he got tired, which is what we hoped for, or we tapped out. But you couldn't tap out. If you tapped out, it was just monkey crawls and rolls all over the place. Spent a long time here, wrestling mainly in Kentucky and Southern Indiana. Spent some time in Illinois. I've ventured into Tennessee a little bit, but the Louisville, Indiana area has always been my home. Currently, the heavyweight champion for a fun little federation out of Jeffersonville, Indiana, called TCW, Traditional Championship Wrestling. Every third Saturday of the month, you can check us out there, 7 p.m. Fun times. I got into wrestling because it was just one of those things where, since a kid, I just wanted to try it. And I have that personality that I'm going to try it. I've never failed at anything I've tried, but I've also never been super successful. But with wrestling,
Okay, you're a champion. You can't say that.
the belt could be a little bigger. But yeah, so I just one day on Facebook, I was just being a little emo 22-year-old and was like, I'm never going to live my dreams. I just want to be a wrestler. Come to find out, somebody I knew from a past life knew Cash and introduced us, and then. Yeah, pretty much immediate meet. Cash liked me, started training with him, ran with his Fed for a long time. And then at some point, I don't know how it happened or where it happened, but I met this lovable man to my right, Stefan, and he introduced me to the world of improv, which was fantastic for me because it was all the same glory of theater without getting hit with chairs. Even though chairs still happen sometimes in improv, you still get hit, it's not as often. So that's been pretty great.
And with a little less aggression, probably sometimes.
No, it depends on who you're in there with.
Depends if he's working with me. There's not less aggression.
Look, I've been in wrestling 11 years. I've been hit by a lot of people. I've been hit hardest on an improv stage. Somebody flailing an arm and like it was pretend, right? I'm like, sure. It was pretend. Ow.
Oh man. I guess wrestlers are at least practiced for how to like pull it back a little bit, and improvers might not be as used to that.
Yeah, we definitely one of the training regimens we would do is we would have to punch the ring post.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't pull it back, your hand's going to be hurting.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, man. And you were telling us just before, I guess with your time during Cash Flow, you were doing how many shows a weekend?
Oh, yeah. So early on in my wrestling career, I've pulled it back a lot now to just I mainly work just for TCW. Looking to expand in the future, so if you're looking, hit me up. So in my beginning, I would start on Fridays. So note, I would train Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday were our training nights, 3 hours a night. Friday was our show night for our home fed, so we'd be local. Saturday, I would travel to either Tennessee or Illinois to do a show in one of those states. And those long drive out and back in one night for barely any money, barely any gas. But then Sundays, that was the main one for us. We would do some stuff up in Memphis, Indiana, and then we actually were on TV for a while with a federation that's closed down called UWA. So we would have TV tapings every Sunday, which actually ran against OVW for quite a while, which we were beating them in ratings for a little bit, but then the company shut down, so you can't beat what isn't there anymore.
Right.
But yeah, so any one weekend early on for the first 4 or 5 years of my tenure. Just as a rookie, those first 4 or 5 years, I would do 4 to 5 shows a weekend. Just enough time at home to wash your gear, take a nap, get a bite to eat, and then you're back on the road again. And like, hats off to my wife, man. She followed me the entire time. There were nights where I'd get a concussion and she would have to drive home. And she was like, she was the real one. She kept me going for all that time.
That's amazing. That's dedication. There's really no other word for it. That's just true dedication for the art and the passion. That's amazing.
Did your style change any, like wrestling every night like that? Do you feel like you can go harder now that you're just wrestling like once or twice a week versus when
I've gotten smarter. Back when I was doing 5 shows a weekend, so you guys know my size. I'm 6'4". I'm not a small guy, but back then I could move and perform like a small guy. I could do springboards, I could do like dives and stuff. Like, I did it all because it was fun for me to do. But now, being still 6'4" and being older, I've slowed it down a lot. I'm more methodical. You guys have seen me at shows. I can pick it up and I can move, but it has to mean something. So now I'm more methodical in my movements. I take my time. I keep my breath. Early on, I wasn't as focused on telling a story as I was doing cool moves. Now, as I'm getting older, I want to tell the story, because when you're running once a month, that's your opportunity to tell a one-night story, and it has to hit. If it doesn't, then the entire night is wasted, and you just have to try again the next month.
Nice. So, like with that experience, the psychology has kind of been added to it with the
psychology is key. It's the backbone of professional wrestling. If it doesn't make sense to the audience, then everything you just did means nothing. You can do 37 backflips, but if there's not a hero and a villain or a purpose or a love behind what just happened, there's no investment by the audience to the moment, then to me, you kind of wasted your moment. You wasted your time. It's similar. I'm just like in improv, you want to put on good shows, because the people who are paying their money, a lot of people, especially in this economy, you don't have a lot of money to spend. So if somebody wants to come out and spend $10 on a wrestling show or $10 on an improv show, like, you want to make sure that they're getting $30, $40, $50 out of that experience because we've all been there. We know how the struggle is. We want to make sure they're really enjoying it and that when they leave, they go, yeah, you know, we spent a little bit of money, but, you know, that was worth it. Everybody had a good time.
And y'all do that too, because when we leave your wrestling show or the improv show, what we're talking about is like we can't wait to go back to the next one. So you guys are definitely doing a good job with that.
Yeah, it's always been an awesome show. Anytime we've been out there, all of the wrestlers in that federation do an awesome job telling the story. And the consistency between some of the wrestlers, you know, how often you see them go against each other is funny because the stories, I mean, it has to be, but it's always like left unfinished. You know, there's always the next part to look forward to. So it's so awesome. So Stefan, transitioning to you a little bit, when it comes to the improv, we've seen a couple of your shows now. How often do you guys like practice with each other to really understand, like, where do you ever predict what somebody's about to say, or is it?
Oh yeah. So people always laugh when you say that you're rehearsing or practicing improv, right? But we meet once a week, every single week, nonstop for 2 hours a night, and we rehearse techniques and games and things like that. And then we also take trips together. We have dinners together. It's like you create a family of friends so that you learn each other's cadences, you learn their style, and you have inside jokes. I can't tell you how many inside jokes we drop on the stage that you guys laugh at that you have no idea that's 50 times funnier to us because I dropped an inside joke that has something to do with Nick that he did with his girlfriend, you know, and I dropped it and was able to work it into a scene. And so you can kind of, it's just like you set it up, I knock it down. Mm-hmm. And so we do that. You can predict that stuff because it's set up for you. There's a rule that I don't know if I mentioned last time that I love more than anything is make your partner perfect.
Yep.
And trust your partner. Those two go hand in hand. You could trust your partner because you're making your partner perfect and they're making you perfect.
Yeah, it goes back to when you were talking about it last time, the yes and.
Yeah.
Being able to yes and each other means a lot. And we've carried that with us since we talked to you the last time on the show because it really is something like in every interaction you have in daily life, your goal should be to try to yes and.
Yeah, I use it in my marriage. I use it in friendships. I mean, Brad and I have been using it in everything as friends for a long time. Business ventures and everything. Yes and. It makes a huge difference. Like I said, I think I've been married 6 years this year, and I owe a lot of it to yes and. I'll be honest with you. Agreeing with your partner and then adding to it, it's that positive reinforcement. It makes a huge difference.
How has it helped parenting?
Well, so far, her favorite word is no.
Exactly.
She's only 2. So
Wait, she's already doing no but.
Yeah, she's already doing no but.
The worst improv you could do, no but.
But no, it helps when we try to decide together as parents what we're going to do. And we do try to do, we try to give her choices.
Yep.
Right. And so that's another part of improv, too, is presenting choices for your partner instead of a narrow path.
Right.
And so we try to give her choices, and that makes her feel more in control, which if you're an improviser, it makes you feel more in control as well, even though you really just were handed 2 things, you get to choose one, but you still feel like you did it. And she does that as well. And that's been working out pretty good, the choices. But she's getting smarter and smarter. Yes, and's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah, she's going to flip it on you, though, and she's going to be, well, can I have this or this? And you're just like, well, she's making her own choices now.
Yeah. I'm waiting for why. She has yet to do why. And that's what I'm waiting for. Like,
I am right
now,
in the middle
she's still
of
on who's this, what's that.
Yeah.
But I know why is right around the corner.
And it lasts a lot longer than the who, what
And
phase.
I can go. I'll go the distance with her because I'm an improviser. So I can just keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. Because I used to work with kids a lot. Mm-hmm. And so I did the why, because this, well, why? Well, blah, 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 blah. Well, why? And next thing you know, we're in outer space. We've met God. Like, I'll go the distance if you want to go.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, that's so funny. And that, honestly, working with kids and having a kid, how has it helped the Gibberish Detective game?
On Gibberish Detective?
Gibberish Detective, yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. Just gibberish in general. I copy a lot of what my daughter used to do. Now she doesn't do as much gibberish anymore. But it's very helpful because you have to translate what they're saying before they learn how to talk. You know, you got it, because they are really, especially like right around 2, because they're really trying to talk to you. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not like the baby gibberish where it's literally just babble. Like, they're literally trying to talk to you, and that is that murder game, like
that's the essence,
the gibberish detective. That is you are trying to speak to someone and figure out what it is that they're saying the best of your ability. And I've had to do that with her, and yeah, it's absolutely helped me in just gibberish in general.
Which probably should have done this first, but for people who don't know, can you give a quick synopsis of what gibberish detective is?
Yeah, so you've got so you get a location. So let's say it's where PopCon. PopCon is the location. You got to get a murder weapon.
Seemed like an easy out to go with PopCon.
Yeah. You got to get a murder weapon, which, you know, could be a Pokemon ball.
Ooh, ear of corn.
Ooh, ear of corn. Okay. And then depending on who you're playing it with, I think we do the celebrity.
Yeah.
So then we do celebrity and who is the one that murdered. But you can't. Everyone speaks a different language. It's all gibberish. And so you come in, you find the scene. A second detective comes in, and you have to explain to the other detective in gibberish the location, the murder weapon, and the celebrity that did it. And then they kill you with the weapon, and then they have to hopefully have the 3 correct answers and then translate it to the next person who speaks a different set of gibberish. And so it's like the worst game of telephone you could ever play, because there's no actual words being spoken.
Yeah. And still, somehow you guys
Unless
figure
you're
it
like
out.
me, I like to throw in Coco Beware all the time in my
Coco
gibberish.
beware.
What were you saying?
That's my favorite gibberish word is Coco Beware.
Yeah, and it's absolutely stunning seeing you guys actually figure it out and get it right. Because I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, there is no way in any universe they're going to get this 100% right, and they do.
Yeah, my old team, when we do it with Improv 502, if we did it, we would bring up an audience member and have them be the 4th person.
Oh, no.
So that they just had to figure it out what the last one was. And that's a lot of fun, too, is having an audience member just be the last one to figure it out, because they're not connected with you, so they don't have your cadence, they don't have your stuff, and it's always funny, the 3 things that they pick, because it's almost always wrong.
Yeah, but that would be fun. I mean, I'm not saying you should institute this, at least not when I'm at the show, because I don't want to be up there trying to do that. But that sounds like it would be funny, seeing someone else's interpretation.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun.
And that's why I kind of asked the question, how often you guys practice together, because being able to just interpret, like I think when Bob Ross was the one, everybody's just doing this. And I mean, that could be like clown hair, that could be a helmet,
I had no
that could be
idea
so
at
many
first.
things, you know?
Yeah,
and it's so funny.
It was the trying to figure out Bob Ross. That was the what is that game called? Press conference. Press conference.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out press conferences. So I like press conferences. Me being backstage and not knowing what the answers are going to be. The audience gives our team a celebrity and then an announcement that the celebrity is making.
Oh, yeah.
And I have no idea what it is, but I'm supposed to figure it out as I'm giving a press conference, and my team members are in the audience acting like they're reporters, and they're kind of feeding me questions, leading questions to try to get me to figure it out without blatantly saying it. And it took me a minute to get Bob Ross until somebody was like, well, is that a happy tree? Or is it? I was like, okay, that's Bob Ross. But the twin thing got me until he said double mint, that Bob Ross was having twins. I definitely didn't get that one.
It's so funny. It's like, and it's so awesome to see. That's why as soon as this opportunity came up, we wanted to bring you guys up, because when you've been to both types of shows, it's so impressive seeing the partner work that has to come into play.
Well, and you'll see us work together, too. I mean, Improv 502 will eventually get shows back on the menu, and me and Brad will be on the same stage together again, so.
I can't wait to see that. That'll be great.
He's my favorite person to improvise with.
He says that's all the tall 6'4" guys wearing a Saints hat that has a TCW heavyweight title. But, no, we actually did this this original long form called Fearscape that I cannot wait to bring back. Small little example or explanation of what that is based off a suggestion from the audience. We create a horror story in real time with background music of like horror soundtracks and stuff. And then when the scene changes, the music changes. And
Yeah, so I have like 200 horror movie soundtrack songs, and we put it on random, so we never know what song's coming up next. So it inspires the next scene. And we've done it with more than 2 people, but it's the best when it's just Brad and I.
Absolutely.
It's 2 people, and we play multiple characters, like sometimes in the same scene. Like we're running back and forth, having to play each other's characters because this other character that we brought up earlier in the scene is also in the scene. So Brad's 2 characters are both in the scene, so that means I've got to play one of them. So it's nuts.
Yeah,
It's
I
nuts.
can't wait. It's a lot of fun. Also, we're definitely at PopCon because I just saw a T-Rex Batman and Robin run by.
Yes.
And then it attacked somebody. I think it was an actual Robin. Robin Hood. Who is that? I love this place. This is fantastic.
Yep.
This is fun.
You never know what you're going to see. And I mean, and then we're just here in the middle of it.
Yeah, we're just in the chaos. I love it.
Yep.
Oh, man. So what does the future kind of look like for you guys? I mean, Brad, what's your plans? Like, I mean, obviously hold on to the TCW belt, but
Yeah.
you have any plans beyond that?
You know, I'm holding on to it. I'm doing my best to make it mean something. Anytime this belt is out, whether I'm holding it or someone else holds it down the road, I want that belt to mean something to the area. There's a lot of federations that run out of the arena. Tony's made it a home for all of us, and I would love to be able to build this title up right here to the point to where, regardless of who's holding it, if you know somebody's a TCW champion, you know that they're the best in that arena at that time. Last night during the match, I kept yelling like, "I am the monster of this arena," and I meant it.
Yeah.
I legit meant it. I was like, I do feel like I am the monster of this arena, no matter the federation. I am the monster. If I no longer have this title, I'm still going to be there. I love wrestling. That's the thing. I love performing. I love art. I know when we talked before about the different styles of wrestling, everybody has their art. Same with improv, comedy. It's all very similar. So the future for me is I'm going to keep working my butt off, increasing my cardio to be able to work in that arena because it's constantly 100 degrees. Keep putting on great shows, putting on good stories, building up the lore of what is BradXilla. I don't know how many more years I'm going to be doing this. I kind of have in my head a time to where if I'm not at a certain level by a certain age, I think it would be the respectful thing for me to hang it up while I can still put on good shows than be some of the people. And please, if anybody is listening out in the audience or here physically, I don't mean anything bad by this, but it is the curse of indie wrestling. I should not be 60 years old wrestling in the ring and not making the young guys look good. I should not be in a wrestling ring at 60 if I'm not still able to go 100%. So I have the age in my head. If I'm there and I'm not top tier, then it's time to move on to something else. I still want to try to make it to Japan in the next few years. I want to be able to go to Canada, Mexico. I'm not done yet. I had about a 4-year span where my mental health and this actually caused rifts between Stefan and I too. I'm so happy we're back together now and like reconnecting, but you know, mental health is a son of a bee, trying to keep it PG here. And it almost ruined wrestling for me. It almost ruined friendships for me. But I'm good now. People, therapy, it works. Do it. So I'm in a good space now. I'm excited for what this new BradXilla is going to be. I feel more motivated. With Stefan and I connecting, I'm excited to see what the improv world looks for me going forward. Just in general, like I'm happy. I'm the happiest I've been in my life, and it took me 34 going through mental health scares, physical scares, and, therapy to finally figure that out. So I guess to cut it short for BradXilla or Brad, it's about just continuing to be happy, doing what I love, and creating this art. So I'm going to go to Japan. I'm going to do that. I'm going to wrestle around the world before I finally decide to hang it up. And who knows, maybe by the time I'm done, I'll get myself like maybe one little run in the Fed. Like one year
go.
WWE run. Just put me in. I'll job out 365 days a year. But I think that's when I would call it quits right there. Job
There you
out.
go.
New Brooklyn Brawler.
That's fine. I don't care. He dude's a legend. And all he had to do was lose. I'm down.
Losing for the win.
Hey, I mean, as soon as you make it on that stage, you've made it, right? I mean, that's a fair thing for me, in my mind.
Honestly, and I'm speaking as the independent wrestler here who's never been in front of a crowd more than like 600 people, which I know sounds like a lot, but when you look at some of these other places, that's not a ton. But to me, just being able to train and get in the ring, that's the dream. Mm-hmm. And then anything additional to that, it's just icing on the cake.
That's a great way to look at it too. You're not beating yourself up about it in any way or form or fashion. You're just looking forward to achieving those goals.
Right.
And I think that's the best outlook you could possibly have. I want to go to Japan too for a totally different reason. I like the cars and the drifting, but hey, maybe we can go at the same time and I can watch you live there.
Oh, that'd be sick.
That'd be awesome.
Was it Wrestle Kingdom, Tokyo Dome? Now that's big dreaming right there. That's huge dreaming. Look, send me like a little like the equivalent of a VFW hall in Osaka, Japan, and I'll be happy. Like 20 people, give me 10 minutes. I'll say I did it. I wrestled in Japan. I'm going home.
We had a Moose Lodge in Japan,
Hell yeah.
Osaka, Japan.
Hey, that's awesome though. So, Stefan, I mean, obviously you just started with Extra Crispy Improv this year, right? The start of this year.
Yep.
And then you've got Improv 502 ramping back up. What's that look like for you coming up?
Man, that's everything. Improv 502, we finally just got a real space. We were
saw
teaching
that.
classes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we were teaching classes out of Boutique on Frankfurt Avenue, and it was great. But now we've got a space off Oak Street near Barrett. It's the old 50 Lou building. We're upstairs. It's really nice. And we're teaching classes out of there sometimes 3-4 days a week. We're even able to do shows in there a little bit. Just we roll some chairs in, and with the way the lights are up there, we can kind of focus them forward.
Okay.
So, but like I said, what's happening with Improv 502 is we're rebuilding our board. I actually just asked Brad today to kind of come on board with me and part of the future of that, because Brad and I used to run the Louisville's Damn Good Improv Festival, and we want to bring that back, just be Louisville's Improv Festival. That was some of the most fun I think we ever had together, was running that festival.
I think that's what tested our friendship, because I remember day one, I think it was a 2019 festival, you and I got into like a big argument over like a creative decision, and then that night we went and got pizza. It was like, yeah, okay, it happens.
Yeah, it happens. But running an improv festival, bringing people in from not just the country, but you get submissions from around the world that want to come in, but want to bring that back next year. I think a lot of great things are going to happen with Improv 502, especially the performance aspect, bringing house teams in. We've had, excuse me, I think we've had six or seven level 1 classes so far this year. And I'm getting ready to teach my second level 2 class, as well as a level 3 class coming up. And those are people that we want for house teams. You know what I mean? So it's like, those are the improvisers. We're doing a monthly improv jam now. It's open to the public. Anybody can come try out improv. And a lot of the improv teams come, you know, because they just want to play around with other people. Because as much as I love Extra Crispy and playing with them every single week, sometimes it's fun to just go to other places and improvise with other people. That's why festivals are so much fun. Like when I was with Damaged Goods, we used to travel all over the country and go in all these different festivals and just perform with all these people. And Improv 502, we're trying to bring that community back to Louisville, because before COVID, there was, I think I told you, we had like 10 or 11 improv troops.
Yep.
And now there's 3, like 3 or 4, 2 that are very, very active. And then you got the Louisville improvisers that do a lot of stuff at Kentucky Shakespeare and stuff like that. They teach classes as well. And then Kentucky Bill that does a lot of stuff at Planet of the Tapes. But aside from that, it's just not happening. And now you've got these young pups that we're training up that are wanting to get on stage, because we don't let them get on stage on level 1.
Right. Makes sense.
So level 2, it's already filling up. Happens here in like 2 weeks. We still got spots available for level 2, but it's like, that's your first performance. That's where you're learning short form and going crazy and having fun. Like, whose line is it anyways? And then level 3 is your long form, which gets you into that theatrical style.
Gotcha.
I do want to say, any wrestlers listening here or on this recording, if you want to become a better storyteller, do improv. Take a level 1 class. You'll fall in love with it. Do the level 2. It will help you so much in your wrestling storytelling.
It's true. Brad was terrible before he met me.
I was the worst wrestler ever, and then I did improv, and suddenly I was just
after
the god.
one class.
Great. Yeah, it was fantastic. I got a call from Vince. Can we say his name? Okay, never mind. We won't say his name. I got a call from Hunter. There you go.
But yeah, we're looking at a lot. We're rebuilding, like I said, after COVID, and me moving away for a while. We're working on a new website. So if you're looking for Improv 502 stuff for classes, it's mainly on Facebook right now.
Yep.
Or just Google it, because we've got our ticket links. But man, I'm telling you, we have at least one level 1 class a month, sometimes 2, if it gets full really quick.
Yeah, I've really seen you've been grinding. Like, you're advertising multiple classes at a time, it seems, because not only the different levels, but it's like, okay, this one filled up, so time to start recruiting for the next one.
Yeah, and we're doing other stuff. Victoria, my business partner, and I, she's teaching a class right now, Improv for Positive Thinking.
I saw that.
Which is really great. She's teaching another one that's like basic stage movement and process. So using improv as an actor is really, really great. She's great. She does a lot more than I do because I'm girl dad right now with 2-year-olds, so I don't have as much time as she does. But she's killing it, man, and it's just Improv 502. I mean, if we could, if we could take it to the full extent, I'd love for us to have a TV show, be a sketch comedy show or just another Whose Line Is It Anyways or anything like that. I think that's where I'd love to take it. I mean, my dream was always SNL myself. Now I'm a little too old, but...
Yeah,
I don't think the wife's going to move to New York, not after getting her to move to Phoenix.
that's probably fair, yeah. And I mean, as of right now, like you said, it's busy with the little one. I totally understand that. I mean, I had to drag poor Annabelle here, but she's doing great. And but as she gets older, it'd be awesome, to really be able to chase that. Because I could see it, honestly, after being to just, I think 2 Extra Crispy shows, I could see it. I laugh. I don't stop laughing, you know what I mean?
Those guys at Extra Crispy, so I got hooked up with them when I moved back. I had said, hey, I hit up the Improv. We have a chat. And I hit up the improv community. I said, hey, I'm back. There's no Improv 502. There's nothing happening. I'd love to guest. They all know me. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've been doing it longer than anybody else, maybe, except for the guys in Louisville Improvisers. And I said, I'd love to be a guest in anybody's show. I want to get my feet wet because Phoenix is a whole different ball game when it comes to improv. I mean, it was just very, very different. And so... immediately, Dwayne Cantrell, who runs Extra Crispy, hit me up, and he said, yeah, I'd love to have you guest. We clicked so quick, the whole team, we just clicked, that I was even thinking, man, I'd love to join this team. It'd be a lot of fun. And I was thinking about it, and about 2-3 weeks later, I get an email asking me if I'd be interested in joining the troupe, and I thought, man, it's like they read my mind, and I'm like, yeah, this would be great. Here's something I don't have to run. I can just be a performer, because every troupe I've ever been in, I've ran, and I've had to, do it. This, I just got to perform, and I clicked with those guys so quick, I knew it would stay clickable. Yeah. And it has. And like I said, if they want to get a TV show too, I'm all about that as well, Dwayne, if you're listening. Let's chase that dream as well. I'll do it.
That would really be awesome. So how did you all actually link up? Do you remember? I know it's been a long time now.
Brad and I?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Brad used to be a fanboy.
I was a fanboy of Damaged Goods Improv.
He used to come to, him and his wife used to come to every single show, and it always made me pumped because I knew if Brad was going to be there, we were going to have a good show because he was a good laugher, and he was good with suggestions and stuff like that. And if you got a good laugher in the crowd, it gets everybody else to laugh.
Yep.
And so he just started coming to shows, and we did a bit for one of your wrestling shows for you.
Oh, yes.
Promo. We cut a promo with you.
Yeah, for the it was like some kind of Royal Rumble deal we were doing.
Something, yeah. So he had Damaged Goods. We cut a promo with him. It was so much fun. And then after Damaged Goods dissolved, Brad and I had just stayed friends.
Yeah, and it started.
We connected being friends, coming to shows.
Yeah, you had a random just like a random pop-up class happen at the Rainbow or something like that.
Oh yeah, Rainbow Blossom.
Yeah. And I popped in for that, and that's where you and I really started to connect. I was like, oh, I've always wanted to try improv. When you guys would do your shows, you do the random scenes where an audience member would come up. But I always loved it. I'm like, man, this seems like fun. I'm really good at making stuff up. So I was like, when you offer that little pop-up class,
I forgot about that class.
Yeah, I did it, and I was like, I'm in.
Yeah, and then we connected from there, and I started working with a local filmmaker, Joe Rigney.
Oh, man, is he still alive?
I don't know, probably not. This guy's nuts. I love him, but he's nuts. And he wanted to learn improv, and so I brought Brad because it's hard to teach one person improv.
Yeah.
So if I had Brad with me, Brad could get a free class while also helping me teach Joe. And so it worked out really, really well. And then we ended up doing a film together, and I made sure to get Brad involved. The film is ridiculous. You can't even see it because he still doesn't have it public. But
I know where to find it. We can
I
do a
do
watch
too.
party.
Yeah, I can show you guys. It's ridiculous.
I would love that.
It's hilarious.
It's not very PC.
No, it's
at
not
all.
PC at all. But yeah, that's how we connected, and we just stayed friends. And then I told Brad as soon as Damaged Goods broke up, I was doing this thing called the Louisville Improv All-Stars. Because I did not want to quit doing improv when Damaged Goods broke up. So I would do a show every single month with guest improvisers. And I would bring in people from around the country or from town and things like that. And I started working with Brad, and I just really enjoyed working with Brad. And then we started a podcast together, doing Fearscape podcast. And we slowly developed this Fearscape long form. So we said, to hell with it. We created a troupe, and a 2-person troupe, and we performed for like a year doing Fearscape.
We did
long
Detroit,
form.
St. Louis.
Yeah, we did festivals together, and we just realized him and I clicked together, not just as friends, but as performers, and it's just been gold ever since.
I'd say probably my favorite memory was us performing Fearscape with you on crutches in Cincinnati. And then the next day teaching a class.
That sounds pretty difficult.
On crutches. I just had knee surgery.
Oh, man.
And it was one of the best shows we ever did. Like,
it made no sense, but it worked so well.
It was so good. And we only had a half hour, right?
No, we had the full hour.
Did we have the full hour?
We had the full hour.
I couldn't
We
remember.
headlined.
But yeah, I was on crutches. And it's a 2-person show, and we're still sliding into each other's characters, trying to and I'm moving around as fast as I can.
Hobbling across
Yeah.
the stage.
But it was one of the best shows, man. Still one of my favorite shows I've ever been in was that one in Cincinnati with Cincinnati
Was that the
Improv.
night we went to Bobby Mackey's afterwards?
Yep.
Oh, that was
we went to
fun.
Bobby Mackey's, a haunted bar near Cincinnati.
It's closed now.
Yeah, they're tearing it down.
Oh, no.
I don't know where them ghosts are going to go now.
They can come live with me if they want. I'll get lonely at night.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, at the end of the day, we're wrestling freaks, improv freaks, and paranormal freaks. And that's why we connected. So,
Hey, and it worked out for us, too, because as soon as we had you on, you linked us up with Brad. And, I mean, we've been trying to support every way we can, and we jumped at the chance to get
we
you guys
appreciate it,
together
man.
on one show.
Perfect combination for PopCon too.
I legit never know when you guys are in the crowd till after the show and y'all text me. Because I go into this focus mode when I go into the BradXilla mode where I know, first of all, I'm about blind as a bat without my glasses. I don't wear contacts when I wrestle. So very Stan Hansen when it comes to throwing the lariats. I'm hoping I hit the target. But I also can't make out faces. So after the show when you guys are like, hey man, good stuff, I'm like, oh, y'all were there. That's what I'm like, anytime you guys are at a show, if y'all can't stick back afterwards, we'll hang.
that's how I am at the Extra Crispy shows, too, because the lights are so bright. Unless we play a game in the audience, and I'm like, oh, okay, there they are.
Is that why you targeted me on the last show?
Damn right I was. I was like, there he is.
Yeah, that was funny. That was all. You all started walking into the crowd, and I was like, no, he's not going to do this. He did it to me.
Not like this. Damn
We were
it.
playing Help a Brother Out.
Oh, that's the best.
Which is now called Help Me Out because we have females that are on the team.
Eventually it's going to be called Help.
Yeah, help.
Help.
Exclamation
That's
point.
what I was screaming in my head. Help. What am I going to have to say here? I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah, your all story is so awesome. So again, thank you all for joining us previously and now. If you want to learn more about the whole journey, because this was kind of a shortened version of a lot of it, definitely check out the other episodes that we did with these two. It's phenomenal. They both get about an hour, so
Yeah, I think so.
We're both talkers.
individually. Hey, that's what a podcast is, right? You just talk. It's like, oh man. So we wanted to kind of play a game. It's not really an improv game, but more of a word association game. We actually did this with you when you were on our show, if you remember. We just kind of asked wrestling related, what's the first thing that comes to your head
Oh, yeah.
when we say this?
That's how I teach my improv classes. The first thing is word
I
association.
kind of figured that would probably be a big part of
Yep.
it. And so we just kind of wanted to lead into that real quick. So, Jack, you want to do this?
Yeah. So, we'll just say a random word. Just say the first thing that comes to mind. So when you think of Louisville, Kentucky, a word association, something that goes with chicken, what comes to mind?
Korea.
Chicken. The horror.
I always think indies.
I'm surprised no one said KFC.
I think it's because nobody in Kentucky actually eats KFC.
That's very true.
We eat Lee's.
Yeah, we go to Lee's or King's.
No, mine's horror. I got to tell you, because my daughter last night, she said, "I scared Daddy." And I said, "What? What are you scared of?" And she points at the corner of the room and goes, "Chicken." And I was like, "We're getting out of here."
Oh shit. Okay, so what about this? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Louisville, Kentucky personality.
Hip.
I actually had like an actual personality in my head, and then I lost it. Multi-personality. There we go.
Multiple personalities. 100%.
I usually go to like an icon. So if I think personality, like Don G or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, if you're talking about a Louisville personality, that's me.
The biggest personality in Louisville. That's fair.
it's not working.
What about like Louisville neighborhoods? What's the first neighborhood you think of?
Lively Shavely.
Lively, shively, yeah. For me, I always think of New Lou, because it is still kind of new. Like, even though it's old at this point now, but I still think of when I first moved here in '94 and that wasn't there. And so New Lou, it's just an interesting. I love Louisville cream. That's like my jam. Like me and my wife, that's what we connect on is ice cream.
Hey, that's a good one. Everybody likes ice cream.
Yep.
What's the first animal that comes to mind when you think of Kentucky?
What was it?
First animal that comes to mind?
Goblins.
Goblins, yes. I was gonna say Sasquatch, so that's right on par.
And see, I'm basic. I'm thinking like cards, cats.
Cards, cats.
You can tell you guys have done improv.
That's from our paranormal days, man.
Oh, Goat Man. Oh, that's another good one.
Yep, Goat Man.
Goat Man, Pope Lake.
That's funny. What about parks?
Pope Lick Park. That's my favorite park in town, and I take my residents there. We do like scenic drives.
Okay.
And I'll take them out to Pope Lick, and then I tell them all the story of the Goat Man, and they have not heard it, and so they're like, "No way!" So I'm telling these 70s, 80s, 90s year-old people, and they're like, "Oh man, we need to come at night sometime."
That's funny.
I was actually going to say Waverly Park, so that works.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's right down the street from me. Yeah. I love Waverly Park, man. I'll tell you what, I drove up there one night when I got back, it was years ago, and I drove up there. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and I swear to you, I saw a patient standing on the hill, like up near.
Oh, no, what color was the gown?
White.
Oh, that was me.
That was you? Okay.
That's just my midnight walk.
Okay, all right. But out of the corner of my eye, I saw like somebody in this white gown just standing up there, and then I blink and look, and nobody's there. I was like, nope. And I quickly backed out, did the 4-point turn to get out of there, and left.
Oh, man. What about like a gallery or museum here in town? What do you think of? Like an art gallery or museum?
I'd say Fraser.
Yeah, I would. That would be the first one.
I love Fraser. I don't
was
even
trying
like
to remember,
guns and stuff, but I like Fraser.
When Jonathan had his art studio. I couldn't remember the name, but that's the first one I thought of. But Fraser would be second.
Yep.
The Speed Art Museum is always a good one, too.
Here's a fun fact. Stefan's never been to the Speed Art Museum. See, I grew up in Toledo, Ohio, and Toledo has a free art museum. It's been endowed for like 150 years. So it's like part of the endowment was to keep it free. And so when I first moved here, I wanted to go. My dad was like, "We ain't paying for no museum. Museums
it's
are
free on Sundays."
And then I just have never made my way there. And when I had the free time, I was going to go was when they were remodeling and it was closed. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not going.
Not meant to be.
So, but now I got a kid. Now I got an excuse.
Right.
So.
The Speed Art's free on Sundays. I think did you just say that?
Yeah, free on Sundays, yeah.
For now.
Ooh.
Yeah, through 2026, I think, based
That's
on a
good to
donation
know.
from Brown Foreman.
Good for them budgets.
Balling
All
on a
right.
budget.
Do you have any others you wanted to bring up? Or?
Nah, we're
All right. I think we'll close it out there. Thank you, everybody, for sitting down and joining us. Before we close it out, we just want to say make sure to check out Stefan's Improv, of course. Extra Crispies on Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so is Improv 502.
Yep.
They keep everything up to date. Our channel or our page, Ville ENT, pretty much shares everything we can find or anytime we see something show up. Definitely check out BradXilla at TCW at the Arena in Jeffersonville.
Third Saturday of every month.
And a couple others that we wanted to bring up, or a couple other things, is Via Calori is a really awesome art show coming up in October. We happened to just do a show with them a couple weeks ago, at least with the organizer and the featured artist for 2024. And all proceeds go to benefit the Girl Scouts of Kentuckiana. They have a lot of awesome vendors. They have cosplayers there and everything too. So it's really awesome. It's the third weekend in October. I think it's the 20th and 21st this year, 19th and 20th, something like that.
I love them, man. I got my engagement photos at there.
Oh, really?
Because she had a full-size TARDIS there, and we had a Doctor Who wedding. And so I called her up, Dusty, isn't it? Her name?
Dusty.
Yeah, so I asked Dusty if we could come and take pictures. And so, of course, she was like, absolutely. So, yeah, our engagement photos are in front of her TARDIS.
That's so cool.
At Via Calori, so.
Yeah, she talked about that when we talked to her. She said it's been everywhere. It's falling off a truck, traveling to a show. It's all beat up and practically duct taped together, but she's not going to have a show without it. And she was really awesome, too. It was awesome to hear the story behind that, so we wanted to make sure to mention that.
There is a hell diver out in the audience right now. There must be bugs nearby. Scared me a little. Calling in the 500K strat.
So I think that's all that I had. Was there anything?
Well, hey, before we end it out, BradXilla. Hey, before we end it out, BradXilla, I have a question.
What's up,
Those
baby?
chops.
Chops.
Those chops, man, are they real?
They're very real. There's no fake with the chops, man. My chest is hamburger meat right now from last night.
Because Aaron said they weren't real.
Aaron, that true?
I don't remember saying that.
What? I mean, we're at PopCon. I can show one off.
We have a volunteer. We have a volunteer.
Oh, no.
Well, Jack, you want to take a chop?
I'll take a chop.
Oh, we're actually going to do this?
If you want to.
Is there? All right, we're actually going to do this. All right,
We got
cool.
4 minutes, so as long as it doesn't take more than 4 minutes.
We'll see if he jumps off the stage or not. We might want somebody to hold him.
We'll pick him up.
I used to have breast
power.
implants until you chopped mine out.
I know, they just looked bad on you. That's why I did it. I just didn't know how to tell you, so I just chopped them out. All right, we're doing this, I guess. Is this cool that we do this? I'm going to slap him in the chest really hard.
It's a wrestling chop.
Okay, yeah, as long as it's really hard. Gotcha. Yeah, fair.
right.
Are we good? Everybody cool with that?
Yeah.
You look really important staring at me. Am I going to get in trouble? Okay, if I do this, am I going to get, hurt or arrested? Okay, cool. So everybody turn off your security radios. Maybe we can talk to this.
You gonna put the microphone?
Ready?
Oh, yeah, that hurt.
Yeah.
Just feeling it.
They're real.
It hurt so bad you had to jump to that side.
That's because I was like when Hulk smashed his hands together. I was afraid if I was going the other way, I was going to fly
I did pull
forward.
it back a little bit, buddy. But I just wanted to get the sting.
Oh, man. I guess with that, I think we're going to call it there. Thank you, Brandon, for having us. Thank you, PopCon, for hosting us. And we will see everybody in the next one.
Woo!
All right, that was wonderful, guys. The Ville Chillin, everybody. Louisville Zone, look them up. Talk to them after. All good.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
Interest of the greater good for me to smoke a joint and calm down.
I am the greatest. He'll fall an eight to prove that I'm great. And if he keeps talking jive, I'm going to cut it to 5.